It was a quiet Saturday morning, the kind where the sun filters through the blinds just right, and the smell of coffee fills the house. I was halfway through my first sip when a sharp knock rattled the front door. Before I could even set my mug down, a voice yelled, "Animal control! Open up, please!" Confused, I opened the door to find two uniformed officers standing on my porch. Behind them, at a distance, stood Karen, my ever-watchful neighbor and self-proclaimed HOA enforcer. Her arms were crossed, lips pursed, eyes practically burning holes into my front yard. "Sir," one of the officers began politely, "we received a noise complaint about a barking dog coming from this property. Your neighbor says it's been going on all night." I blinked. "My dog, buddy? He sleeps inside next to my bed." Karen immediately stepped forward, interrupting, "Don't lie! I heard that mutt barking from 2 a.m. till sunrise. I have the HOA bylaws right here. Noise violations are subject to immediate fines." I bit my tongue, trying to keep calm. The officers asked to see the dog, so I invited them in. Buddy, my sweet, lazy golden retriever, was still lying upside down on the couch, snoring softly. His tail wagged lazily when he saw the strangers. The officers exchanged looks. "He doesn't seem like the type to bark all night," one muttered, petting Buddy behind the ears. Karen, on the other hand, huffed dramatically. "Don't be fooled! He stops the moment someone looks. It's psychological," she insisted, waving her HOA clipboard like a weapon. I offered a small laugh. "Ma'am, maybe the noise came from somewhere else. We've got a few stray cats around here." Karen gasped like I'd insulted her personally. "Don't you dare blame cats. My Princess Muffin is perfectly behaved." The officers politely wrapped up their inspection and left after confirming. There was no sign of a barking dog. Karen glared at me before storming off, muttering something about escalating this to the HOA board. As the door clicked shut, I sighed. "You've really done it now, buddy," I whispered. He tilted his head, confused, then sneezed. That night, I decided to keep my phone recording just in case. If the mysterious barking happened again, I'd have proof. And sure enough, around 1:43 a.m., a sound echoed through the neighborhood. It wasn't barking. It was a strange, high-pitched yowling, almost like a cat fight. I turned the volume up on my phone, frowning. That noise, it was coming from Karen's backyard. The next morning, I woke up with a mix of irritation and curiosity. The sound from last night still echoed in my head, definitely not a dog. More like something straight out of a cat opera gone wrong. I brewed a strong cup of coffee and played back the recording from my phone. The audio was crystal clear. A long, drawn-out "mrrrah," followed by scratching and clattering. I chuckled. "That's no bark, Buddy, that's a drama queen." Buddy wagged his tail as if proud of being proven innocent. Determined to settle this once and for all, I decided to set up my security camera facing the fence that separated my yard from Karen's. Around noon, while adjusting the angle, I saw Karen peering from behind her lace curtains like a hawk. Moments later, she stomped out in her pink slippers and sun visor. "What are you doing?" "You can't just point cameras wherever you want. That's a privacy violation," she shouted. I kept my tone calm. "Relax, Karen. It's pointed at my property line. Just trying to figure out where that noise is coming from." She scoffed. "It's your dog, and I'm not going to let you manipulate evidence to hide it." Then, in an almost comical twist, her own cat, Princess Muffin, strolled out through the open door, stretched and climbed onto her car hood. Buddy perked up beside me. He stared at the cat, tail wagging, but didn't bark. Muffin, however, started yowling loudly, so loud it echoed between our houses. Karen froze mid-sentence. I didn't say a word. The noise grew louder, and Muffin started clawing at the side mirror of Karen's car like she was attacking her reflection. Karen fumbled for her cat, yelling, "Muffin, stop it! Mommy said no scratching." I couldn't resist. "That's the same sound from last night." Her cheeks flushed red. "Don't be ridiculous, she's startled by the sunlight." The irony was too much to handle. I turned my phone camera on, casually filming the crime scene. Karen noticed and snapped, "You better delete that, or I'll report you to the HOA for harassment." "Sure thing," I said with a smirk. "But I think animal control might like this follow-up footage." That evening, I reviewed the recordings. The video clearly showed Muffin yowling, pacing, and knocking over trash cans, all while my vicious dog lay quietly on the porch. I uploaded the clip to my cloud drive and made backups. Something told me Karen wasn't done yet, because at exactly 8:02 p.m., there was another knock on my door. And this time, it wasn't animal control, it was the HOA president himself. When I opened the door, Mr. Thompson, our HOA president, stood there holding a clipboard that looked older than the neighborhood itself. His glasses sat crooked on his nose, and behind him, like a villain in a sitcom, stood Karen, smiling like she'd already won. "Good evening," Thompson said formally. "We've received multiple complaints regarding animal noise from your property. Mrs. Peterson here claims it's been ongoing and disruptive." Karen folded her arms smugly. "It's true. He refuses to control his animal. My sleep schedule is destroyed." I motioned for them to come in. "Please have a seat. I've got something to show you." Thompson hesitated but followed me to the living room. I opened my laptop, queued up the video footage from last night, and pressed play. There it was, Princess Muffin, standing proudly on top of Karen's trash bin, yowling like she was auditioning for a haunted musical. The sound was deafening. Then, clear as day, the camera panned slightly to reveal Buddy, my golden retriever, asleep the entire time. Karen's confident smile froze. Thompson leaned closer to the screen, squinting. "That's her cat?" "Yep," I said, crossing my arms. "The same one that's been blamed for my dog's barking every night." Karen immediately jumped to defend herself. "This footage is obviously edited. Probably AI generated. Everyone knows technology can fake sounds these days." I nearly laughed. "Sure, Karen. My 5-year-old security cam somehow invented your cat's Oscar-worthy performance." Thompson sighed, rubbing his temples. "Mrs. Peterson, this doesn't look good. You've submitted 3 formal complaints this month about this man's dog." Karen's face turned red. "Well, maybe his dog provoked my Muffin. Maybe that's why she's expressing herself." I leaned forward. Buddy was asleep again. For a long moment, silence filled the room, broken only by the faint sound of Muffin yowling outside again. Thompson's head whipped toward the window, where Muffin was now perched on Karen's fence, meowing so loudly that even Thompson winced. Karen gasped, "Muffin! No, baby, not now!" She rushed outside in embarrassment, tripping over her slippers. Thompson turned to me, trying to stifle a chuckle. "Well, Mr. Davis, I think we've seen enough. Consider this matter closed. No fines, no violation." I smiled. "Thank you. And maybe the HOA can recommend a good cat trainer." He grinned. "I'll leave that part to Mrs. Peterson." As they walked away, I heard Karen scolding Muffin in the distance. "You're making Mommy look bad in front of the HOA." But I had no idea that the next day, Karen would try one last desperate move, and it would backfire worse than ever. By the next morning, I thought the whole mess was finally over. I had proof. The HOA president had witnessed the truth, and Buddy was back to his peaceful naps. But with Karen, peace was never more than a temporary illusion. At around 9 a.m., I heard shouting outside. I peeked through the blinds and nearly choked on my coffee. Animal control was back, but this time, Karen was the one arguing with them on her front lawn. She waved her arms dramatically. "Someone's been harassing my cat. She's terrified. I demand they do something." The officer, clearly exhausted, replied, "Ma'am, we've had multiple calls from neighbors about loud animal noises again coming from your address this time." Karen froze. "That's impossible. Muffin is an angel." As if on cue, a guttural meow echoed from her backyard, followed by the sound of crashing metal. Everyone turned to see Muffin clawing her way up the fence, tail puffed like a raccoon's, yowling at a squirrel that was calmly munching an acorn. The officer sighed. "Ma'am, I think we've found your culprit." I stepped outside, trying to look as polite as possible. "Morning, officer." "Déjà vu, huh?" He nodded. "Seems so. Your neighbor's cat is the source of the noise complaints after all." Karen glared at me like I'd personally betrayed her in a soap opera. "You planted that squirrel. You trained it to taunt Muffin." I blinked. "Karen, you think I trained a wild squirrel?" The officer couldn't help chuckling. "Ma'am, we'll be issuing a warning for false reports. You can't keep calling us about your neighbor's dog when it's your cat making the noise." Her jaw dropped. "A warning? To me? I'm on the HOA board." The officer smiled kindly. Then you should know better. As they drove off, Karen stood there fuming, Muffin still meowing at the fence. She finally scooped the cat up and stormed inside, muttering something about ungrateful animals and corrupt neighbors. Later that day, a notice went out to the entire HOA community. It was from Mr. Thompson himself. Effective immediately, all residents are reminded to verify the source of noise complaints before filing official reports. This includes, but is not limited to, household pets, wildlife, and personal cats. Buddy sat beside me on the porch as I read it aloud. I couldn't help but laugh. See that, boy? Justice served. He wagged his tail, happy as ever. And from across the street, I swore I could hear Karen's blinds snap shut. A week had passed since the Muffin meltdown, and things in the neighborhood finally felt calm again. No late-night yowling, no knocks from animal control, and no angry clipboard lady on my porch, or so I thought. One Friday afternoon, I came home from work to find an official-looking envelope taped to my door. The HOA seal was stamped across the top in bright blue ink. My stomach dropped. I tore it open. Notice of violation. Unauthorized fence modification. Dear resident, it has come to our attention that your fence camera may be in violation of HOA privacy regulations. Please remove it immediately to avoid penalties. I groaned. Oh, come on! Karen, of course. That night I saw her standing proudly by her mailbox, chatting loudly with another neighbor. Every few seconds she'd glance my way with a smug little smirk. I walked over calmly. Karen, you filed another complaint, didn't you? She turned dramatically. Oh, I don't file complaints, dear. I simply report violations. It's my civic duty as a member of this community. I sighed. You're unbelievable. You're the one who caused half these problems. Karen clutched her pearls. Excuse me? I am protecting the neighborhood. We have standards here, unlike certain people who record innocent cats. Before I could reply, Mr. Thompson pulled up in his golf cart, looking both tired and amused. Evening, folks. I got the new complaint about the fence camera. Karen straightened up. Finally, some authority around here. Thompson smiled faintly. Yes, well, we reviewed the footage. Turns out that camera has been quite useful. It caught someone tossing cat food into Mr. Davis's yard every morning. Karen's eyes widened. That's absurd! He turned the clipboard around. Sure enough, the footage showed Karen herself, sneaking over in her bathrobe, scattering kibble through the fence holes while whispering, Go on, Muffin, let him bark. I nearly doubled over laughing. Thompson tried to keep a straight face. Mrs. Peterson, he said, you're hereby fined for trespassing and harassment. And if you approach his property again, the HOA will pursue further action. Karen sputtered. But I was just feeding the wildlife. Your domestic wildlife, Thompson said dryly. As he drove off, Karen stomped back to her house, dragging a very confused Muffin behind her. Buddy wagged his tail, watching her go. I patted his head. Guess some people never learn, huh? He gave a soft woof, then laid down in the sun, peace restored once again. Or at least until Karen found her next community emergency.